Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the north corner of the map playing in red, we've got Beastie Beauty playing as the Ottomans, and his opponent today in the south corner of the map playing in blue, we've got Striker as the French. Welcome everyone to Regions. That is your map for today, and we are playing on the Empire Wars game mode. As you can see, extra villages for both players, but the French get a little bit more. They start off with 26 villages, now up to 29, up to 30. And the Ottomans started off with 23 villages up to 26 now. Now, you might be wondering, why did the French get more villages? Maybe they're just a little bit more excited, but more importantly, it's because their town centre works faster. So they want to obviously compensate for a missing Dark Age pretty much in Empire Wars. And both civilizations now go into that feudal age. We've got Twin Minaret Madrasa for the Ottoman civilization, giving them their berries. A nice landmark, for sure. And the French going up with a school of cavalry. No real surprises there, although sometimes we do see the trade one. Not today. We're going to be expecting those early French Royal Knights. Plenty of villages on gold. So certainly 8 villages on gold. That's going to be heavy feudal age player. I would be expecting to see a stable, maybe even archer range. There we are. Yeah, stable. Oh, it's double archer range. Okay, well, expected with that many villages on gold. Maybe thinking about double stable knight production, but it's not. Just one stable for now, and is going to be getting eco upgrades most likely with the extra gold. Going to be getting a blacksmith nice and early as well. No, it's a bit of an awkward situation. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but in Empire Wars, you do actually start off with certain buildings, like the Ottomans. They start off with a military school here already, and the French, they do start off with a blacksmith rather, but they don't get the bloomery, which is kind of weird. So they have to build another blacksmith for the extra bloomery. Ends up that they have 2 blacksmiths, but I guess they can let those blacksmith upgrades quick time. And you can see now bloomery has just quickly come in automatically there for the French. The next step would be decarbonization in the next age. And well, on the back of this, let's just see what the Ottomans are up to. They go for a second town center play, which is very awkward, very different. But I think it's generally a nice strategy for the Ottomans. I don't know, it's a bit dicey against the French because the French are known to be very aggressive. But the Ottomans, they do get free units, right? So first military school came for free, going to get the second one and a stable. The question is, will the Ottomans be able to hold on for the, a good foreseeable future? It needs to hold on for like the next 10-15 minutes because it looks like it's going to be under a lot of barrage with knights coming out and 2 archery rangers. You've got to be careful here, Beastie Beauty. Now, just to make things clear, I don't believe this is Beastie Beauty at all. It's actually someone else, but, the name's very familiar. I just want to clear that up in case you were wondering. And another thing to clear up, as I'd like to say, that I'm very happy with the progress of the channel, and super grateful for all the support that you guys have been giving. Absolutely fantastic. Every little bit helps, whether it's just liking videos, just subscribing to the channel if there's the kind of content you like. If you don't like the content, to be honest with you, you probably wouldn't be watching this far if you didn't like the content, so if you do like the content and you want to see more, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. More importantly, hit that notification bell. It really helps out. And a very special thank you to all those who go the extra mile and do end up supporting as YouTube members and Twitch subscribers as well, and Patreons. I don't actually have the overlay for that just yet to be able to extract the people who have subscribed on those other platforms, but I'm equally as grateful wherever it is. But it's got to be careful here. We talked about how this second town center could be a source of problem here for the Ottomans. Whilst his economy will start to scale up nicely, and it should be able to keep up with that 1 town center production. In fact, it will overtake it, of course. That 1 town center production for the French. He's got to be careful and not lose too many villages and units and not get overrun. Because you can see, Striker with the French, he means business. Already has 3 French Royal Knights, a couple of archers, and more are on the way. Now, the good thing for the Ottomans is that the longer that it takes for the French to break through, he's getting free units, right? It's really strong. If he gets the meta as well, that'd be really strong. Just needs to get as much production. The awkward situation for Beastie Beauty is a lot of his production on the front lines. But having said that, this is buying a lot of time. But this blacksmith, okay, it's like 100 wood or 150 wood. How much is it for the Ottomans? I think it's 150. Might be 100 because the production builders are cheaper. It is actually 100, so it's not just the production buildings that are cheaper for the Ottomans, it's also the blacksmith. But I think this is really crucial because buying the time, it means that the French aren't actually doing that much damage. He's got 2 village kills, actually, to be fair, which is quite strong. But the longer this goes, the Ottomans will be feeling a bit more comfortable with that second town center play. He's got a couple of Sabai, a couple of spearmen. Just needs to build up a little bit more. It comes to a situation where the Ottomans need to build up an army to be able to take a really critical fight, just to push this all back. He can't wait too long, but at the same time, he can't go too early. If he goes too early, he loses his military, and then he's very exposed. If it goes too late, well, then he's going to lose his production buildings. I think he'd be happy, okay, with losing the stable. I don't think he'll be happy losing the military school. So it's going to be pushing the knight away. I mean, it might be nice to actually build a palisade wall here just to protect this angle of attack. And just make sure he gets all the troops on the front line, because the idea is that you don't really want to split up your army if you want to take a meaningful engagement. And we might be seeing that engagement coming soon. There's the meta. Going to be boosting up the attack speed by a good 15%. That's such a strong bonus, especially in the situation where he's going to need it. Sapai going to dive in. The knights do back off for now. And the archers might get a couple of shots. Here come the charge from the knights. The Sapai trying to get as much value as they can, but they can't keep up. Going to try and focus on the archers for now. Spearman going to try and engage against the French Royal Knights. He's slowly but surely pushing this away here. Striker needs to back off. There's quite a few archers exposed, but the archers are focusing on the Spearman. If the Spearman goes down, then that's a problem for Beastie Beauty, because that will mean the French Royal Knights can get away with anything they want, really, against the Sapai. But it's too late. The Sapai have poked and prodded, taking care of those archers, and they're going to get out of there. Their superior movement speed of 1.75 tiles per second mean they can really dictate the terms of the engagement against the French Royal Knights. And he does just that. It backs off. A small little charge on that cheeky little knight. Heads back into the stealth forest. Now it's a good pushback by the Ottomans. This is exactly what Beastie Beauty needed to do. Behind this, he's got his second town center, but guess what? Guess what? On the minimap, so does the French. He's going to go for the second town center on the deer pack, which is really strong, actually. If you consider the map and the way it spawns, I mean, as the name suggests, you've got regions of resources, right? You've got woodlines, your main woodlines back at home. You've got usually 3 of them, as you can see, as I demonstrate for you here for Beastie Beauty. And then you've got gold in the middle, which is oh so important in the mid to late game. And then on the right, you've got some berries. And on the west, you've got the deer pack. So this is actually quite strong for the French. I mean, they're not like massive deer packs. They're only 3 deer in little patches. But it's still it's a great source of food income, right? Because the French are very hungry on food. They need a lot of food for those French Royal Knights. And they need a lot of food for the town centers. Now, with the 2 town centers from the French, they should be producing more villages than the Ottomans. So Beastie Beauty's got to be careful. He's going to try and wall up here, as we talked about as being an option. Has lost 4 villages, though, so far, which is not ideal. I think the Knights charged this, actually. I'm not sure if there's enough Sipahi. He might lose his villager here, Beastie Beauty. He's going to get absolutely murdered. Unfortunately, dies very quickly. Sipahi going to try and chase these Knights out now, but good value from the French civilization so far. It's very brave of these 2 villagers. I'm not sure how long they're going to survive for, with these French Royal Knights lurking around. Very, very brave. The French Royal Knights are going to dive that woodline, not going to get too much value. The villagers do garrison inside that town centre, which houses 9 of those villagers at the moment. Does have space for 1 more. The French are going to ride away. And as we said, those 2 villagers, they're going to be spotted. Maybe. Might just ride past, but... Striker? Hello? It does have the scout. That's the key bit of detail. Without the scout, he probably doesn't see that, actually, in the end. The villagers did well, but unfortunately they lose their lives. And all of a sudden, 10 villagers being killed here is actually a bit of a problem for the Ottomans. They do get free units, which helps bridge that gap between that economy. It's still a bit dicey. Also, good attack there for Beastie Beauty, getting the first engagement. The Knights were focusing on the mining camp, which was kind of pointless, but it is what it is. And now the Spearmen are going to try and chase as well, but of course... These French Royal Knights will escape with their lives for now, at least. Weak one left behind, but he's going to make it out of there. I think, anyway. Yeah, the Archer's going to push this back a little bit. Spy decide to head back home for Beastie Beauty. As we see a lot of villages on gold here for Striker. He loves his gold, doesn't he? Yeah, he's got the second stable. Not producing from both. He's kind of struggling on food, right? That's kind of the issue. But now with the villager lead from the French, that's certainly going to be helpful. But, you know, 3 units coming up from 3 military schools. One is toggled to Sipahi, the other is toggled to Sipahi. And guess what? The third is toggled to Sipahi as well. It's such a strong unit for the Ottomans. The reason why I love the Ottomans and the Malians, the 2 new, well, relatively new civilizations, they've got a lot of unique units, right? You've got the Sipahi, you've got the Janissary, you've got the Great Bombard, which is an incredibly strong unit for the Ottomans. I love to see that unit in the late game. But this is what I mean. He's got Janissary spawned out from the Vizier points. And this is going to do really well against the French. Does harass that gold line, which is not ideal for the Ottomans. But he's going to push forward, and the Janissaries are so strong. They did go through a phase of time where they were really weak in terms of... And they still kind of are, but they kind of melt to archer fire, right? And the French do have that. But these guys, when they engage against knights and cavalry... Oh boy, do they do good work. And I think that's in many ways why the Ottomans are thought to counter the French. But we shall see. The French do have other potential options. You know, they do have man-at-arms. They've got tools that they can use against the Ottomans, but it might be a bit tricky. The meta going to be buffing up these units. Just the one meta, though, for the Ottomans. So Striker would love to snipe that with the archers if he could. Question is, will he be able to? Villagers of Gold might be sniped. Here come the Janissaries on the behind them, and yeah, that's a great engagement. Kills a couple of villagers there, the Ottomans, and he's going to push us back. The French are a little bit uncomfortable with this fight. I dare not look away. They takes the engagement outside the school of cavalry. The spearmen trying to engage against the knights. The archers on the back line trying to focus on those spearmen. The Sipahi just trying to meat shield everything. The Sipahi might just win this. I think the Janissaries on the back line, we must not forget about them. They are ripping through those French Royal Knights. Just dead horses on the ground, covered in their blue armor. They're left behind to rot, and now the Sipahi are going to ride on those archers. The Janissaries still remaining with good health on them, and now the Sipahi going to get a free reign on the French economy. This is a problem. He's down to 7 military now. I think he did some damage maybe on the wood line, but I didn't want to look away. There are 2 knights on the berries. That's going to help his cause here, Striker, but he lost a lot of military, and it is military that wins games in Age of Empires 4. A lot of units are going to be riding around that town side. Can't stay there forever, but he does keep those villagers idle for now, just peeling off one Sipahi on those villagers and more coming in to aid in the fight. And this is going from bad to worse here for Striker, losing villagers. But so are the Ottomans. He's actually killed 17 villagers. These 2 knights have got so much value. Thing is, the Ottomans didn't leave anything at home. Great micro by Striker, have to say. Keeping those knights alive. And I love what I see. Beastie Beauty paying attention to the map, making sure he keeps those key resources under control, denying them as much as possible for the French. And the chivalry upgrade coming in to heal up these French Royal Knights. Spearman might just get a hit on that knight. Yeah, he backs up. No, he's going to survive, though. The Spearman can't chase it down, really. Going to try and palisade wall this up on the east side of the map quite extensively. Sending about 4 villagers to do so for the Ottomans. And the Knights will get away, but you can see map control very much in firm control of Beastie Beauty. And we'll certainly want to escalate that in the Castle Age, which it looks like is heading towards. As you can see, that food count steadily rising. He's got the resources. What will he go for? I mean, there's no real surprises. It's going to be the Mehmed Imperial Armory, giving those free siege engines. Mangonels, they'll be beautiful to see. He's going to go up with 13 villagers. Wants that Castle Age fast. Maybe looking to get some relics as well to transition into a nice Castle Age economy. We'll see what he manages to pull off here, because I don't think Striker will be too far behind. He's got 34 villagers on food, and I mean, you know, that's quite a lot of villagers on food. He shouldn't be too far behind. If he just idles production for a short while, he should be able to get the Castle Age himself. But the problem for Striker is that in that last engagement, in that last fight, he lost so much military that he can't really afford to not replace them, right? He needs units. If he wants to safely get to that Castle Age, he needs some defensive units to protect his economy. Meanwhile, the Ottomans, behind all of this, are getting units for free. Janissaries, 2 of them still remaining from that first initial fight. They need to back away, though. There's a lot of spearmen here for the French. He might chase this down. There's a bit of a lost cause, I think, for this Ottoman army. They're going to be chased down and taken out, I think, it seems, at least. Castle Age does come in, and what does that give for Beastie Beauty? Gives them a lot of options. Spearmen engaging against the Sipahi, but not enough in numbers. Now the Sipahi are going to focus on the archers. Looking a bit dicey. Now the army will go down on the west side eventually. It's about extracting as much value as they can. I think he took a couple of units there, which is certainly ideal. He might just focus on a villager or 2. He's actually going to get out of there, because the Sipahi do have the fastest movement speed out of all of these units. So he's going to escape. Oh, slowly but surely. Gold is starting to run out on the map. It does have gold on the back, though, so this is going to be a key bit of gold for the French to take. But after that, that's where this map gets really interesting, because there are 3 8,000 gold veins in the middle of the map, and that's going to become so critical at this point. Give it another 5 minutes, and both civilizations, both players will be itching to get there. And who will get there with a keep? That's the question. You often want to get the static defenses in the middle to protect that area, to get full control. Sometimes units just aren't enough. And it looks like, well, I mean, both players have got relatively similar stone amounts in the back. Oh, that's not a bad fight at all for Striker. The Ottoman's got to get out of there. In the Stealth Forest, there's too many spearmen. Sipahi going to die. Beastie Beauty, you got to get out of there. He does, but he lost a lot. That is a great comeback in terms of potential here for the French. Does need a hard transition to farming economy, though, Striker. Run out of food a lot. Does deny that 4th military score. This is looking good for the French. It's a great back and forth game. But then all of a sudden, now these archers are exposed. The Sipahi are going to dive on that. Now the French are going to lose their army. Does have a couple of French knights on the back line. Killed 32 villagers. Absolute great work here by Striker to kill so many of these Ottoman villagers. He's got reinforcements, and all of a sudden the French are looking strong. They're pushing this back. They actually killed all the Sipahi. The spearmen, such a great additional unit for the French. No real answer here for the Ottomans. He needs to take care of those spearmen. They are causing all sorts of trouble. Alright, well there's that farming transition we expected. Relatively well protected, and I think he's going to send some villagers over to gold. Now the French are still in the feudal age, but still pressuring on the front lines. Will we see a mangonel? I think we might have just seen a mangonel pop out recently. Either way, the French are continuing the aggression. 2 French Royal Knights on that gold vein. Picks off a villager. He's done great work here. 39 villagers have been lost by Beauty. The thing is that his military is coming out for free, and that helps. But he does need to stop losing these villagers, because it's going to start to become overwhelming. A couple of units here coming on the east side for the French. Outposts certainly helping for Beastie Beauty, but this economy on the berries is pretty exposed. He's got to be careful here not to lose a lot of villagers, just a handful of units. And here comes a ram for the Striker, for the French. Staying in the feudal age, it looks like he's no real attention is going to the castle age himself. I don't know how I feel about that, but I think it might be a bit too late. Like, these upgraded units, these are castle age units now. It's been a while. He's going to try something though, Striker, though. He is ahead on economy, so doesn't necessarily need to rush anything. But this is huge. Kills more villagers. 40 villagers killed from the French. They do this so well, sending knights as well. And he's off. Oh, this is bad. Beastie Beauty. He's got to do something about this. It's going to be a massacre otherwise. Might even lose his landmark. But he's starting to build up forces again. He needs to take an engagement when it counts, though. Going to lose more villagers on the west side. Oh, this is not good. Oh, he doesn't see that, though, Striker. The vision on these knights aren't great. But Beastie Beauty looks like he's considering an engagement. Does have a couple of lancers. He takes the engagement. There's a couple of crossbows as well. Those crossbows will absolutely rip through those knights. That will only leave archers behind. The Sipahi will take care of those. And the lancers too. And all of a sudden, this feudal age army for the French isn't looking too hot. Does have a couple of knights there. Oh, this is not great. He's lost so many villagers. 45 villagers have gone down. The army does get pushed back, but not all the way. He'll keep the Mehmed Imperial army alive, maybe. Who knows? Villagers need to come out to repair. There's a mangonel. The mangonel won't do too much. Does he keep it alive? He keeps it alive with the repairs, and the rams don't quite take it out. It does mean that the production of the siege won't stop. Oh, no, that's a massacre on that wood line. Beastie Beauty, he needs to do something about this. He's constantly getting raided. Lost 48 villagers so far. I mean, he's just... Yeah, this is bad. He's bleeding. He's bleeding very heavily. Starting to gain momentum, though. The knights are going to be tricky for the Striker, because these crossbows are good numbers. Not to mention just the crossbows, but also the janissaries. Interesting choice. I quite like the crossbows, because, of course, the French do get a lot of archers. And these archers would rip through the janissaries in many ways. So the crossbows are perhaps a little bit better at dealing with that. But the mangonel certainly going to help. No siege engines for the French, of course, being in the feudal age, but that's not going to last for too long. It's going to be the Royal Institute for the French, giving access to cheaper Imperial Age upgrades. 30% cheaper. That's incredibly strong, actually, when you think about it. Nice power spike. I think it's needed. I mean, it's a tricky one because the Guild Hall has many uses on this map on regions, because obviously if you lose control of the middle, I mean, to be fair, I don't think the Guild Hall can compensate for that. If you lose control of the middle, the game is pretty much over with the amount of gold that's there. So I think the Royal Institute is the right choice, because he's going to need to he needs to contest it, right? He needs to get hold of that middle area somehow, and a good way of doing that is by getting these all important upgrades, which are cheaper. He's going to start sending villagers to stone. I like what I see. He needs those keeps. By the same token, Beastie Beauty might consider doing the same. But Beastie Beauty making his presence known in the middle, gets an outpost first. Starts to head forward with military. I think this is a good time for Beastie Beauty to attack before the upgrades come in for the French, but they are coming in quickly. Horsemen diving in on the front lines for the French. Has to back off for now. Mangonel always threatening the Lancers and the Sipahi. trying to chase down the infantry from the French, and they will, but a lot of the army are heading back home for some reason for the Ottomans. They got scared for a moment. He's engaging on the front lines. I think the Sipahi should win that, but he's going to back off for now. There's a couple of spearmen there that kind of concerned him. But take a look at this. Villagers coming out for the French. They're going to be losing their lives. Oh, that's a bit of an oopsie daisy for the French. He has to head back, but doesn't lose all that many just yet. I think, well, he might lose a couple. The Spy get their way. Magadel gets a shot off, but not getting all that much damage. Oh, these villagers, they're just standing and taking the damage. The crossbows on the back line for Beastie Beauty. The Sipahi on the front line, focusing on keeping those crossbows alive. Mangadel's behind all of that. Villagers coming out to maybe take out the Mangadel. Will it get it? That's a bit of a sacrifice. Wait, what's going on? What are these villagers doing? It's a distraction, I think. They've given themselves up for the French cause, and he does head back home, but now... I mean, it's not all that bad. He's lost 25 villagers so far, Striker, but I mean, it's unnecessary, it seemed. But it was a bit rough, losing those villagers. In any case, gives him a bit of breathing space, but look at the Ottoman war machine. 46 military versus 15. This is a bit tricky. Having said that, though, the French might start to come online a little bit. It does have a slightly stronger economy. But I think the free units for the Ottomans might start to get a grip on this game. Needs to be careful not to dive too quickly here, Beastie. He doesn't have all that much siege that can do critical damage to buildings. But Mangonels don't do half a bad job at the buildings. And he's going to look to just poke and prod and take out production. But he does almost have enough fear for a keep here, Striker. The question is, where does he build it? Because the awkward thing about his production is that it's not in a nice symmetrical SimCity base where he can drop a keep and just make the units cheaper, right? That's really what he'd ideally want, but the Ottomans have forced them into awkward positionings of these production buildings. Mangonels, they do deploy, they do shoot, but mostly on the buildings. Mangonels focusing on the artillery air. Bit of a big engagement on the outside of the French base, but the question is whether it will be a killer blow. I don't think so. I think the reinforcements coming in for the French will definitely do great work. Does lose a Mangonel in the end. There's a single Springald there for the French helping out. And he'll push that Mangonel back. I mean, I don't know. It feels like the Ottomans could dive this, to be fair. He's got enough military. But in the meantime, the villagers came out for the French to get a keep in the middle. And he's going to try and get a second. But the thing is, the Ottomans spot this. The war machine heading back. He doesn't want to give up this position. It's the right call. He doesn't want to dive in the main base. He needs to secure the gold. Striker struggling. He's running out of gold. He needs this gold vein as much as possible. He's got one keep already. He might lose valuable health on this keep. Can't really delete it now. Lose too much stone. They're just trying to get out to build, but I'm not so sure it'll work. I don't think the Ottomans can stay here for too long, though, because the French army is starting to build up again, and if they can support the keep being built, I mean, just take it out. No, you got to take it out. No, why? Beastie Beauty, don't do it. Don't leave. He's got a Mangonel. He could take this out. He's deciding to leave it. It's not the right decision, I don't think. It's got 15 villagers garrisoned inside there. Oh, okay. That's rough, because now I think Striker might be able to get this keep up. He's got units to protect, but the Mangonel is always a bit scary, right? But so is the Springald. Villagers coming out to build up that keep. I think the Mangonel is going to deploy. Oh, he's going to focus on the villagers. Oh, that's a lot of villagers killed there. 45 villagers have been killed by the Ottomans. Now he's catching up on that villager kill count. He's looking strong. I think the keep will go up in the end. The horsemen diving in. And this is looking a bit dicey again for the Ottomans. Like, if the French can get control of this middle, that's going to be incredibly strong. If he can take care of the outposts and freely mine that gold. But here come the Ottomans cavalry this time with the Lancers and Sipahi. Those villagers decide to go back home, and rightly so. He does have textiles. Makes them a little bit more tanky. Oh, holy moly, this is a back and forth game, isn't it? Jeez Louise. If you've enjoyed it so far, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I've been very particular on choosing matches, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed on the channel. Like, I understand that people are busy, and if you want to spend a couple of minutes, 20 minutes, 40 minutes watching a game on Age of Empires 4 on YouTube, the last thing you want is a terrible game, right? So I'm trying to make sure that's a feature of the channel where if you watch any of the videos, you know pretty much it's going to be a very good one. Any of the casted games, it's going to be a banger of a match. I think that's the best way to do things. It means that you guys are rest assured that you get quality content, entertaining content. And to be honest, it's actually more fun from my part. No one wants to see the obvious matches, how things just end up being quite stalematey or very obvious who wins. This one's been a very good back and forth. I mean, halfway through, we saw a lot of villagers being killed by the French. You know, he's up to 56 village kills now. And Beastie Beauty was way behind on that front, but he's killed so many more in that time, and now they've kind of evened up a little bit. The economy, very similar for both players, but the difference for the Ottomans is they get free units. He's got more villagers, more free units coming in, obviously. Well, the French don't get free units, so that's a big detail. But the thing is, the French have control in the middle, at least on this west side of the middle, with 2 keeps. The thing is that the French haven't denied the gold income from the Ottomans, right? And as long as the Ottomans keep getting gold, they're going to look strong. He's got Trebuchet. And Beastie Beauty might be opting for the Imperial Age. And that will be a huge power spike for the Ottomans, giving them access to the Great Bombard, which would be free, no less, from the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Takes an engagement with the Sipahi, but spearmen in good numbers for the French. Mangonel with a good shot on those spearmen. Gets the veterancy upgrade to the spearmen at the right possible time. Quite a few crossbows for the Ottomans. Mangonel does get taken down by the solitary Springald. And there is the Imperial Observatory being built in the backlines. We won't need to focus on that just yet, because this is where the main fight is. Spearmen focusing on the Sipahi. The Sipahi need to back away from there. The ranged units for the Ottomans doing great work on the backlines, though. A lot of villagers there on gold to mop that up as much as possible. And it will be, as we said earlier, the Imperial Observatory. A couple of horsemen on the back there. Striker trying to get a good raiding value. It's something he's done so great throughout the whole game. And he's going to get some villager kills on the farming transition. Istanbul Observatory. Going to be a very nice landmark for the Ottomans. Obviously, acting as university, will be giving those upgrades very quickly. And improves the influence provided by university and the blacksmith to 100%. Really pumps out a lot of units there because of that. Lancers diving on those horsemen. The horsemen are still trying to run around. And I think this is nice for the French, actually. I really do. Because what it's doing is it's forcing the Ottomans to not be aggressive. Try and stay at home. And it gives him a bit of time. He's trying to get a bit of time because he wants to get this keep. Trouble is, are there any mangonels for the Ottomans? This could be dicey. This could go either way. This could be the defining fight of the game. We shall see. 2 Springles will be focusing on the mangonels eventually. If they do, that could be problematic for the Ottomans. But the Ottomans, they have a lot of ranged units. They've got those Janissaries ripping through the cavalry. And the Ottomans all of a sudden looking strong. But the keep might go up. I'm not so sure. I don't think it does. There aren't enough villagers. The French are going to look to be struggling. Will it go up? It might just. He's got a lot there. He committed a lot. He does go up with the keep. But he lost a lot. Now all of a sudden, 65 villagers killed for the Ottomans. 67 for the French. He's going to get an outpost as well. This is a strong keep. Striker almost trying to edge in and get control of this gold. This is so critical. But the thing is, the Ottomans have a lot of gold banked up. He's got a trebuchet. If he can get some great bombards out, that will really help his war efforts. But he needs to take care of this keep. This is the critical area of this match so far. And this is what Striker needs to defend. It's all about defending this keep as much as possible. 2 Springles. Great work at sniping out that trebuchet. That was huge. But now there might be coming some Imperial Age units. There it is. There's the Great Bombard. You'd love to see it. This is the big boy. This is the one that can dish out a lot of damage. And I think this could be the thing that changes the tide of war. Trouble is, Striker doesn't have access to culverins in the Castle Age. And he's a little bit far away from that Imperial Age. I don't think he can get to that Imperial Age. He needs to hold for as long as he can. Keep control of this gold. If he does that, he needs to bleed up the Ottomans away from gold. The Spearmen engaging against the Sipahi. The Ottomans, the Great Bombard sniping the Springald. And the HP on this Great Bombard is so huge that it's staying alive. Even against the Springals. The 2 Springals, he takes care of that easily. And now the army for the French dwindling in numbers down to 17. Striker on his last limbs. Beastie Beauty going to get control of the middle of the map once again with the Great Bombard. Villagers coming out for Striker. One last throw at the dice. Going to try and burn down that Bombard. If the Bombard, though, if he goes behind the palisades, that's going to be a problematic situation. Mangonel on the villagers. Lancers on the villagers. Those French villagers, they've been sent on a mission, but they have failed. And now with 45 military versus 22, this is an issue that the French will not want to deal with if they can. They need to back away. But if he backs away, he gives up control of that gold, and the Ottomans' war machine will just keep coming. 101 villagers versus 88. That Great Bombard going to take that keep down, and I think with that, we might just see the end of the game. We'll have to see. Villagers coming out to repair, but he might not have enough stone. He's got 400 in the bank already. Trouble is, can he out-repair this keep? No, he can't, because there's a second Bombard that comes out for the Ottomans. He takes care of that keep, and now the Ottomans go back onto gold. And trouble for Striker. He might lose another keep. And he might lose his access to gold as well. If he loses his own access to gold, that will be curtains. Take a look at the income per minute. It's going to increase very quickly for the Ottomans because of these villagers. And now this is where the free units come into play. Yeah, they're really strong here for the Ottomans. Oh, take a look at that. Those Springles one-shotted, and he just can't deal with those great bombards. It feels like that's going to be a difference maker. We all even see a Reboldequin, which will rip through the infantry for the French. He's down to half the number of military versus the Ottomans. Springald gets absolutely decimated there in the middle of the map, and this is looking bad for Striker. I'm not sure there's a way back. He might have one last hurrah. But if this Ottoman war machine continues, and these bombards take out this third and final keep, this could be curtains for the French. We'll have to see. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's going to come down to one final fight. But it might not even be much of a fight, because the French don't have all that much. Might be one last hurrah. Spearman, Arbaletier. But that's an impossible task. Reboldequin, Mangonel, 2 bombards, and the crossbows from the Ottomans taking the engagement. Man-at-Arms tanking the front line. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Striker taps out, and well, the Ottomans take the game on regions on a fascinating game of Age of Empires 4. And if you enjoyed the video, do give the video a thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and see you next time.